So I heard later Bob Dylan say recently, people claim him as being the savior poet of the 60s. He says he doesn't know where that came from, but all he knows is that he knew he had a destiny. He was certain of a destiny without knowing what was going to happen. He knew that was going to happen, not how. And it wasn't like an arrogant statement. It was more like, you know, something's going to happen. It's not like an egocentric thing, like, oh, I'm going to achieve something. That wasn't it. It just had like almost like an inbuilt sense of certainty that you were being drawn to something that was made for you or something. I think that's how I feel about it. And the moment that Danny Ash called me, you know, he'd been in lots of bands that were terrible, really. But he was very good. I saw him, I thought, this guy stands out. He's got something, but he wasn't in the right context. He was even working with the other two members of what was to be Bauhaus in a band, but still that wasn't very good at all. But once he and I started working, in one weekend we wrote, I'd never sang a note in my life or written, you know, consciously for a song. Like, I'd always write, but not for songs. We wrote half of the first album in in about 18 hours. And it was that immediate. It wasn't like, oh, we're marvelous. It was just, that was what happened. And then the other two, David and Kevin, joined. Lucky for them. And lucky for us too, actually. Because that band had a real, once the four of us were completed, it was kind of like, this is right, let's go. Now for me, I was already successful the moment I walked on stage. There was no more to be done. You know what I mean? So it's kind of my life, and it's what I must do too. I feel responsible to do good work, and I still feel that I haven't achieved or opened up to what I can do, really, possibly. And that is to really serve something, because audiences are very important, and you're communicating to people. So without wanting to sound, you know, sentimental and all this stuff, it's important. There's an interaction, and to achieve and to leave some good with your actions. And I'm not on about just goody, something of value that will change people's lives if it works. But if that isn't happening, you just have to take care of the art, the work, really, the music. And music and performance is very much like an acting thing. An actor has to go into this space that is not of the intellect, actually. It's just in this space that they know is inside them. And then it happens as it happens. So it's not all worked out.
And what were your music preferences when you start in the music system and today's one?
I mean, I really love to listen to people like Mick Ronson play the guitar, and you know the Bowie albums like Hunky Dory, Space Oddity, Man Who Sold the World, Ziggy Stardust, of course. But I also then really enjoyed classical music, but I also enjoy really cheesy Mantovani music. And I would enjoy hymns at school. I loved hymns, the harmonies and the ambience. I loved the, you know, the feeling of sacred contemplation with music. It was like fantastic. So it wasn't that I was really, I always say that I'm not really like a musician's musician. I'm not into being, you know, this is cool, that's cool. I just knew that I was original, and I was going to do something that I knew was there, that was somehow laid out in front of me. But I'm very influenced by film and by theatre and by my whole family. My father was Irish, he died, but he used to sing all the time, or whistle and sing. My mother would sing. We would sing at Christmas, carols in the house. I was, you know, the youngest of 7. There was the Rolling Stones, everything, Elvis, ska playing. There's all sorts of music going on. You know, the Beatles blaring out. So it's sort of in you anyway. You know, you've heard it anyway. So I'm not necessarily so convinced that that one or two artists that I may imagine really started me off that way. I think it was just like an attraction to performing, really, and to sing. I mean, I couldn't imagine anything more wonderful to do. I mean, the idea was like, wow, I'd love to do that. So it was like that, very innocent. Plus, when I was, I have to admit this because I like to tell the story. When I was about 17, I was going on a long journey on a bus. I was alone, and I was in front seat, and there was a glass in front of me, and then the driver. And I, you know, as you're traveling, it was hours in, and I was just, you know, looking out of the window. But then I focused on, my eyes caught my reflection in this. And I carried on looking at myself as if I was another person, because I was just in that nice, it was like a pure narcissistic moment. Or it was like, that looks like, you know, look at that. Look at him, not me. Look at that. I went, and then I went, God, that matches well with singing. And so that was the very first thing, you know, very innocent thing. It was a pure moment of like, it's almost so egocentric when you tell that story, almost, you know, narcissistic. But actually, I hold that it was just like witnessing something. It was like saying, look, you know, that's good, that will work, you know. It was kind of like recognition of something. But I think it's really funny. I was, when I first started a band, like I left my life and just lived in a cupboard and ate muesli for a year with, you know, lived with a band in the house, and I had no mobility. It was fine, I was happy. And I would walk around like I looked on stage. That was how I wanted to be, you know. And this was in Northampton. This was not a city. Yes. And I would get my clothes made by friends, or like I get my mother's old coat and cut it up, and something, I don't know, whatever. Like I go to Oxford shops. But anyway, I was walking with Kevin Haskins, the drummer, and this hairstylist came out of the hairstylist shop and said, "Excuse me, hello." I said, "Hello," you know, da da da. You know, we're cutting hair for free today, so would you be our models? You'll get a free haircut. I said, yes, I don't mind, because I'm on the stage. You can do whatever cut you want, because I'm on the stage. No, but I was like new to it. It was hilarious. So if you counterpoint that with the legend that's built up around me as being this, like, some kind of sort of dark lord of, you know, that's a joke, really.
So thanks very much for your kindness, and we hope you will come soon.
Come back with the new album,
Perfect.
hopefully. Grazie.
Grazie a te.